All right. So it's a minute after, and it's just us. So we're all among friends. So here's the HDF5 2.0 goings on. This is the only thing I got to present today. Other than that, it's just questions from the peanut gallery. And since there's not really much of a peanut gallery here, unless Quincy has exciting questions, um, or things to talk about. So the auto tool. So the auto tool should remove this month. I was hoping to do it while I was at SC, and I did not have time to do it while I was at SC. And I was hoping to do it in thanks before Thanksgiving, but then I was sick, so I did not do it then either. But I'm pretty excited about doing it this month. I'll yank out the auto tools. Then the C++ wrappers. So I've gone back and forth on this, and I've threatened to remove these in HDF5 2.0 because they're not really maintained. They don't really do modern C++. I mean, we did update them so that they're they behave better, according to modern C++ compilers. But we don't have move constructors or anything like that. They're really not modern C++. They're still basically C++ 98. So since there's not really a super obvious replacement, and since they are still useful for resource acquisition is initialization, then I feel like somebody made a comment, and I can't remember. I think it was I think it was a forum or a GitHub issue, where I said I was going to remove these things, and they said, it's actually still kind of useful just for that, right? Because otherwise they would have to create some wrappers to do that. That would be probably inferior to what we're putting out. So I think what I'm going to do is I am going to defer removing them to a future major HDF5 release when we have a better strategy for some sort of replacement. Um, because I hate to tell people like, well, just use high five without ensuring that that is going to be a sustainable thing and that we have it in CI and that we're keeping track of it, and without like a migration plan. So if you've got stuff that's in our own C++ wrappers, um, here's how you change it to use high five. Um, and also dog fooding that in like an example to see like how bad that experience is. So I'm going to defer it. The C++ wrappers are not going to suddenly be well maintained. I mean, they're still going to basically be as they are. I'm not going to expend a lot of resources on updating them or anything like that. We don't really have bugs in them. I think there's a few minor issues about like some new warnings and stuff like that that show up with modern C++ compilers, but for the most part, they're gonna remain as they are going forward, and then maybe we'll remove them in HDF5 3.0. Maybe someone will have some money and will want to do like a real replacement. I don't know. But that's what I have right now for HDF5 2.0. Let me unshare this and then let me put grab a new tab here. And I'll pop open GitHub.
Seems like it's between the frying pan and the fire, though. I mean,
I
you're not
know. I
throwing more
don't.
resources at the existing ones. You're not suggesting and adding resources to the high five. It's
Yeah,
kind
I mean,
of,
I don't know. I feel like there's not like a canonical. Let me switch to sharing this one here. Yeah, there we go. I feel like there's not really a good canonical replacement for the C++ wrappers that we have, as imperfect as they are.
the high five
Right.
ones are actually pretty good.
But
I've used
like,
them
how
and
well are
they're,
they maintained? Like, I just don't know. Right. Like,
I mean, you
because
can go to the GitHub and look at the commits. They're moderately recent and it's
right. But
not terrible.
I've heard that they don't have that their funding is out. So
Do
that
you
makes
have funding?
what's that?
Do you have funding for this?
Well, no, but at least I know the stuff that I have is not broken, right?
Right,
The
their
high
stuff
five
works. It's
rate.
good. I
Yeah,
mean, it seems equivalently, you know, poor, but
right. I mean,
equivalently poor.
I feel like it's premature to yank them out and cause people a lot of pain without like a pretty clear migration
Sure.
path for
Okay.
people. So I feel like that's probably not the best. I mean, and is it really like saving us any money to remove them? Because we don't spend a lot of money maintaining them. I mean, if you look at the last commits that were in there, I mean, it's mostly trivial stuff that we do to like all files, right? It's not like we go in and have fixed exciting bugs or added new features or anything.
Well, the advantage you would get is the and I'm not necessarily advocating for this. I'm just kind of talking about the issue, whiteboard.
Hmm.
The advantage you'd get is you'd say, well, they're gone now, and so there's no possibility of expending emergency resources on a CVE or a critical bug or something wacky happening with them. You just say, sorry, we took them out.
Sure, but I mean, if something like, let's say there were some sort of critical CV, excuse me, I'm still not over my illness, but let's say that there were some CV that were filed against the C++
Mhm.
wrappers, right? My response to that would be like, okay, well, don't build the C++ wrappers, just the same way that we did with the GIF tools. So,
Right.
is it a thing that I'm going to lose a lot of sleep over? Probably not, right? I think it's unlikely given where we've seen the CV issues come from that we would have some big problem with it.
I
Um,
agree.
but yeah, I mean, and if
They
there were
are,
like bug
yeah,
filed against it that were like a big deal, like I'd be like, okay, well, I don't have the resources to fix that right now, so it's gonna wait, right? They're
sure.
they're not well maintained. That's just the thing.
Another aspect is, and this applies to Fortran too, so it's not necessarily totally uh, all about C++, but if we're moving more toward the concurrency for multi-threading, obviously C++ is a factor. We currently say, yeah, this is unsupported, don't do that, but you can enable it if you want. I don't know. It's a
Yeah, we do have to think about that,
intersection point there, at least.
right? And there's the option of like spinning them off, but like if I spun them off and put them in a repo, like that's resources that I don't have to throw at that problem right now.
Yeah,
Right. Like that's like removing them is easy, right? I can go in, I can delete that directory, I can remove the the subdirectory of both CMake and the auto tools, and that's a 5-minute job, right? And then it's done, it's gone. But I guess I gotta remove all the C++ detection stuff. But like it's an afternoon, right? It's not a big job. But to put it into a separate repo and set up CI and like all that stuff is like that's like a week project for someone at least. So I don't want to do that, right, without resources behind it. That's not a
sure.
good use of the company's funds. So yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Right now, I feel like it's been creaking along. There's no, it's the the probability of causing harm by letting it creak along is low. So I'm just gonna let it creak along for a little while. I was hoping to
Okay.
remove it and be like, ah, use the modern stuff, right? Because that's like if you really want modern C++, you should do that. But I haven't even like I haven't talked to any of the high five people. We do communicate with the H5 Pi people, and we've talked to I think high five people in the past. But I would want to sit down and have some conversations with them and see how they feel about this stuff, right? Like,
Mhm.
do they want to have a stronger relationship with us where we like maybe even brought it under our hood and like cared for it like a regular piece of our software? Like, I have no idea, right? We'd have to talk to them, see what their thoughts are. And without having me done that, I think it's irresponsible for me to just rip it out. So,
Okay. Yeah, sure.
in terms of other stuff, like if you go on the wiki, right? We can take a look at actually, let's look at that and so the HDF5 2.0 planning is still here, right? Links to all the stuff for anybody who wants to see how that's going. Let's see if we go into, let's look at the issues and then we go to milestones. So HDF5 2.0 been hovering at 11% complete. We've been fixing things, but also stuff has come up that we should add to the queue. Um, so it's been kind of staying the same. I think when we started this, it was like at 120-ish a month ago, and now we've added 10, but we've closed a bunch, so about the same. Um, but I was thought that the work for a lot of this would really be more of an early 2025 thing. The holidays get in the way of everything, conferences get in the way of everything. It's difficult to get a lot of work done in the right around SC and around the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, a lot of vacation time in that period. So we're trucking along. I mean, we can like look at the individual pieces here, right? And you can see like what's been closed. Like if we go into, uh, let's see, like look at library behavior bugs, right? And you can see that we've been slowly fixing some of them. So We're working on it. Stuff's in progress at the HDF group. We have people working on stuff like cloud optimized HDF5 and things like that. Like Larry's been doing some work on cloud optimized HDF5, so we have to have some tweaks and some fixes there. We're using AWS more easily. I'd really like to expand it to be more generic and be able to do like Azure Blob Storage or something like that. But if anybody wants to volunteer their time to do that, that'd be interesting. But I've always been hoping I can convince someone at Microsoft to give us the money to do that.
Yeah, that would make sense.
And like it wouldn't be
Is
a lot,
there a
right? Pay for a developer for 2 weeks and then suddenly cloud optimized HDF5 works with Azure Blob Storage. Like that seems like a really good value.
Yeah, I mean, true.
I mean, that's like toilet paper budget for like Microsoft, a big
Probably.
company. Like how many copies of Office do they have to sell to pay for that work? Like it's not a lot.
Have you considered also maybe using an abstraction layer that can talk to, Azure, Google, AWS, whatever
Right. Yeah, I mean
object
that'd be the
stores?
point, right? To abstract. I mean, because right now it's hard. Basically, it was designed um just to work with AWS, right? It's why it's called
Right.
only S3. But yeah, I mean it would be nice to go through and like create an abstraction layer so that there's just a bunch of function pointers and you just have a bunch of files underneath that do the right thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or even if it's like a REST API thing, right? Like I mean, is it just strings like that we need? I don't know. Like
Good. I don't know. Yeah.
but yeah, I mean it'd be nice to just have that be like some extra like layer underneath the read-only S3. We'd have to rename it, I guess, but could maintain both names. But it'd be nice to do that. I think that would be a really useful thing because it'd be nice to do Google Cloud Storage. I mean, I'm not going to probably. I think I would probably stop in terms of HDF Group maintaining stuff, but they could even be plugins, right? And then somebody wanted to write a thing that was a plugin for, you know, Oracle's cloud or IBM's cloud or whatnot, then just do that.
Right. Yeah. Just another pluggable interface.
Right.
Hmm.
Not hard to do. We know how to do that. It didn't take us very long to do the VFD and the VFL in general to make VFDs plugins, so I can't imagine it would take very long to do sub VFD plugins. Cloud provider.
Although I guess you could make it stackable, and then they would be real VFTs too. But we're designing here. Yeah.
Yeah, that seems like a lot of like though. I mean, because like really, I feel like a lot. You'd have so much that's basically in common, I think.
Hmm.
Right. I mean, just some of the stuff that we've put into like the read-only S3 VFD, like our world's simplest cache, right? Where we just the first read is like 16 megabytes, it's read only, and that's a thing that we just hang on to. Like
Right.
that's useful for everything. So, why would you want to repeat that code multiple times?
Well, but that's the nice part of making it stackable, right? You write one kind of meta thing that does sensible stuff, and then you write another little, very low level version of it that's
Yeah.
the only things that are different amongst the platforms. They're
Mhm.
both still VFTs, but anyway.
Yeah. Not possible. But even if just right now it's just a different API call, it'd be fine. Right? Like it'd
Yeah.
be interesting just to I mean, I feel like if we just covered Azure and Google Cloud Storage along with S3, I mean that's like 90% of the market.
Well, except in China. But yes.
Yeah, yeah, true, right? Yeah. But in the markets where people can give us money, right? It's like 90%.
Sure.
Anything else anyone wants to talk about? Do we have any questions? We don't really have any outside people here except Quincy, who's only kind of outside since you've been with us like forever.
Yeah.
And to whom we talk all the time. So
Yeah. I don't have anything new or exciting. So yeah,
I did ask people to look over your multi-threading PR.
that would be super. Matt
So I'm
has
hoping to get
approved.
that in the next like day or so.
Yep, that's the final big underlying one, and then
Yeah.
I get into the data structures.
Cool. Okay, well, if nobody has anything else, then this was a short meeting. And yeah, so I think that my final decisions are that we will remove the auto tools, but we are going to keep the C++ layers. So I hope it doesn't look like I'm flaky. I'm just being responsive to community needs. But it is nice to get rid of the auto tools. I'm going to be very happy to have only one build system. I'm sure all the CI runners are going to be happy too, because they're going to be 50% less loaded. So the CI run faster, that'll be nice.
Yeah, everyone will have to learn CMake, which will be net good, I would say. But
Yeah, but okay, so why is it that the auto tools are in good shape? Right? Because I think it's because specifically you and I have put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into the auto tools. And if we had put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into CMake, then CMake would be in a better position. So I prefer to have everybody working on one build system to make it the best it could possibly be instead of being spread across two. So
oh yeah, I'm not arguing. I'm just saying, forcibly upgrade everyone's knowledge.
yeah, for sure. But I think that's a good thing. I think it's gonna be great to have a lot more eyeballs on the CMake stuff, and every time people have to start dogwooting this, there are these things they get way better. All right, I think that's my child's school calling, so I'm gonna cut this off now, and I will talk to you guys later.
Cool.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
Bye.